All right. Good morning and welcome to the Capital Improvement Planning Committee meeting for Wednesday, May 15th, 2024. It is 9:01 a.m. First order of business is approval of meeting minutes. I think we actually have two outstanding, but Tony, I don't think the January ones that you drafted did not get approved last time. Jeff was going to make edits, but he did not circulate them to the committee, so we're going to hold on those again. We still have draft ones, so we're good from a town code perspective. So then we had a second set of minutes, which was from March 20th, 2024. These were drafted and circulated by Joe. Did everyone have a chance to look at these?
Yeah, sorry they were late. I had them and just got distracted.
Okay, no worries at all. Did anyone have any comments on those? I had two, Joe. One is under number 5. Is instead of saying should that continue, I would write the committee agreed to revisit CPC capital articles for the upcoming capital cycle. In the process that would be undertaken, something along those lines of a process that would be undertaken in that respect. That makes sense.
Say that one more time. The committee agreed to.
The committee agreed to revisit the process for CPC articles that are capital related for upcoming fiscal years. We didn't agree on what the process would be, but we just talked about kind of just should that be folded in, etc.
All right, I will get that.
And then under number 8, certainly you did say that, but it didn't necessarily relate to committee business. So it's up to you whether you want to keep that in there or not, given that there was no discussion or it continued. So I'll leave that up to you in the final version.
Okay.
All right. With that, I will make a motion to approve the minutes with the edits as discussed. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Steve?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Tony?
So I was not there, so I guess I should abstain, right?
You can do it. You can abstain or say aye or nay.
I'll abstain.
Okay. And I'm an aye. So that's a 301 vote. Thank you for that. Next item is the lightning protection, even though I can't spell. Actually, let me give the NERI update and then I'll I bring John in. So the NERI Building Committee has been meeting quite regularly. There is a submission going to the state next week with all the options. Cost is starting to be discussed as well. Not a small dollar amount, still a ton of work to do there. So it's very premature to look at those costs and say that that's a number that's going to come to town meeting, because there's just so many options on the table in terms of a 2, 3, and 4 grade school. So we will be further discussing that as a NERI Building Committee, and then starting to narrow down options. The important thing that I tell anyone that will listen is over the summer months, that is when the committee is going to narrow it down with the state to one option to further explore, which would mean the size of the school, the number of grades, renovation versus new construction versus code upgrades, which is obviously an incredibly important decision. But that will further inform kind of where the project then goes, and everything continues to be on track for a special town meeting next April, based on the timeline with the state. So are there any questions or comments there? Okay. John, I asked you to be a panelist. I don't know if it's allowing you to or not. Otherwise, we can go to the chief and come back to John. Oh, there he is. Hey, John.
Hey everyone, how you doing?
Good, thanks. So we're going to go to the request from the facilities department related to, I'll call it a change order for a lightning protection system for the townhouse project. I guess, John, you had submitted a memo in advance, so didn't know, if you had any questions. I guess let me open it to the committee and see if they have any questions for John based on, what was submitted. Go ahead, Joe.
What's going to be the yearly savings on the insurance?
I don't have that number. That's something that would have to go through Maya. I'm guessing it's not gonna be a massive number, but they usually give us some kind of credit with any kind of safety stuff like this.
And what do we have any actual idea what the likelihood of this building being struck by lightning is?
We've had a couple lightning strikes since I've been in this position on different buildings. The Southborough, for some reason, we tend to have a lot of lightning.
Hmm.
So I would say with the amount of copper on it, Joe, pretty good odds, quite honestly.
So we've actually had a building hit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right.
I definitely am worried about the elevation of that building too, right? In the proximity to, obviously, there's church steeple right next to it as well.
How much damage does the average lightning strike do?
One off the top of my head, the elevator at South Union. Put it this way, you wouldn't have wanted to pay for that bill out of your pocket.
No.
It
I know.
can fry in elevators, computer systems instantaneously, pretty much.
Which would be considerably more.
Yep.
Other comments or questions on it? All right, well, John, regardless of where this motion goes, thank you for obviously bringing this project in under budget. I think, that continues to be very helpful to kind of, obviously the broader financial picture for the town in terms of, just because you had it allocated didn't mean you had to spend it. And I know there's been a
Exactly.
few change orders on this particular project. But again, thank you, for your diligence there. So with that, I will move that, we approve the facility director's request for the lightning protection system at the townhouse as outlined in the memo. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote. Steve?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Tony?
Aye.
And I'm aye as well. All right, John.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. All right. Gonna bring in Chief Phil Brown. Morning, Chief.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Doing pretty well. Just it's the lightning. I was listening to the lightning part. And the question on that, a lot of lightning strikes fall and they backfeed hit a lot of fire alarm systems too within town buildings and stuff. So for my former 2 jobs I worked at before, lightning does a number on a lot of the electrical and computer systems and a lot of the fire alarm systems in the building. So, and I hate to say that is probably a good investment on your side. You know, it's not part of my thing, but just been around it a lot. So
So for those of you that have not met Chief Phil Brown, he's been our interim fire chief for a few months now. And Chief, you're in your final week.
final week, I'm going to be available to Andrew Patini, the new chief, afterwards as needed. But you hired a really good candidate, and it's been an awesome working with I've worked a lot with Brian with things, and you have a really good team in this community. It's been a joy to work for Southborough, so it's really nice. It's I'm gonna be sad going, and won't be super sad, but it's a really good community to work for. It's been fun, a lot of fun. So,
And it's certainly been a capital intensive process during your time here. So we have 2 fire related items. The chief has had some conversations with myself. He's had some conversations with Brian and Mark. and would kind of break this up into two pieces. And I thought it was important to get, capital on board with the path that the interim chief has gone, and obviously the new chief will continue to kind of push forward with, relating to some of the capital articles that have now been approved by the town. The first is the ladder truck. So we can all recall, we had significant discussion with Chief Achilles back in the fall timeframe when he brought forward repairs to the current tower truck. And I think capital, asked him to kind of shift towards, thinking about new, right? And thinking about what asset the town really needed moving forward. Obviously, we didn't have the funding in place when Chief Achilles left, but then there was subsequent presentations, and then Chief Philbrown has now worked with the department. Based on the report that I've received, the town has been able to secure a ladder truck that will be delivered this fall. So think about that, this fall. The tower truck, they've been keeping me updated, continues to fail in a variety of fashions, even beyond what Chief Achilles had anticipated at the time. So looks to be even more wise investment of kind of pivoting last fall. But the item for discussion today is, it was brought to my attention that with this asset that they've been able to secure, there is going to be significant trade-in value on the existing tower. The estimated costs that we've been provided to date are $1.02 million for the actual purchase of the ladder, net of the tower truck trade-in. We appropriated $1.3 million at town meeting. What seems to have potentially fallen through the cracks is Chief Achilles, when he was budgeting for the actual truck in his submissions to us, did not submit for any equipment to go on the truck. And there is certainly, Chief, right, equipment that can move from the current tower to the new ladder, but it's not everything.
Right.
So the part that I thought was important to bring back to capital is basically Brian and Mark have already confirmed that the wording of the town meeting warrant article allows for the purchase of equipment for this specific truck, not for another truck, but for this specific truck. But given that capital was only presented with literally a vehicle, right, that will drive down the road with nothing in it, I thought it was important for us to provide authorization, if we're so inclined, to the fire department to purchase equipment, even though it was not part of it. In discussions with the chief, while they don't have a formal full list yet, he does not anticipate that it would be greater than $200,000 for the equipment, which means that there still would be a significant amount that would be unspent, i.e. not bonded, in the authorization that was given at town meeting. So I think we have two ways of doing this. One is we can just approve the concept of the fire department approving equipment within the parameters of the article, and ask incoming Chief Puccini to come back kind of with a list of what he is transferring and or proposing to purchase new and why, just educate the committee members on that. Or alternative two is we could just approve $200,000 of equipment for the vehicle out of the already authorized funding and defer to the chief in the department for what, staying within those parameters for this truck. Those are the two paths I could think of. Welcome if there are other paths or questions, but I do think it's important to provide some direction. And if the direction is no, we don't want any equipment in that truck, right? Or we don't, right? I mean, you can say that too, but obviously then the chief, both outgoing and incoming, will need to think about future town meeting authorizations. So that's the background. Don't know if there's thoughts or questions for the chief, or a path anyone wants to take. Go ahead, Joe.
When I voted for for this vehicle, I wrongly assumed that it would be functional. And so, without the equipment, it's not functional. Therefore, you know, in the original mandate, at least from my vote, was to have a functional vehicle. So, if there's money for equipment, I think it should be spent for the equipment in the under the article. I would like to see the chief come back with a list of all the equipment and the expenses that will be incurred, because I think that's only appropriate for us to review. But I'm definitely in support of having a full usable vehicle.
Tony, Steve.
I agree with Joe.
All right, so then I'm gonna move that the CIPC support the use of up to $200,000 for the purchase of equipment for the ladder truck, with the understanding that prior to any purchase, a full listing is provided to the CIPC for consideration in a vote.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, roll call vote. Steve?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Tony?
Aye.
And I'm aye as well. So that is unanimous. I guess, Chief, we can coordinate with Chief Putini just once he's ready, and I know you have a committee supporting all of you on that.
Yeah, we had a great committee put this work on this truck, and Chief Patini's I've been keeping him abreast of what's going on with it and carrying this all the way through. So this should be I'm very actually telling him I was very proud of this process and getting involved in it. This is a really good accomplishment from the department side in the short term, and really by capital, I think it was a great move to capitalize, not to use it the wrong way, but at the timing wise. So I want to thank you on the behalf of the Southborough Fire Department for supporting this.
Okay. And then the next is update on, let's start with the ambulance. So we also appropriated funds for so take a step back. On the ladder truck, the town has signed a contract, and that is quote unquote ours.
Signed contract, and Brian has the contract in hand also. So that's already a signed deal.
All right.
Moving forward.
So we also appropriated funding for an ambulance at this town meeting. You just took delivery on another ambulance from 3 town meetings ago,
Yes.
right? So we all know how long this takes. There was significant conversation amongst capital. Again, this was with Chief Achilles, not you, about the need to order it quickly and not, get stuck with certain price increases. And I know in particular, the advisory committee weighed in when we made our presentation too, kind of doubling down on some of that, because I think there was, I'll call it a lot of contingency in the amount that we went to town meeting with, probably far more than we normally would for an item like that. But given the funding source, it was an easier discussion. So I guess, can you give us an update on where that procurement process is, kind of as you change leadership?
So currently, we just took order from the same company, Bulldog Fire Apparatus, with Ambulance 29. And the goal and the mission when they started was to get 2 ambulances that are very similar. Obviously, if you're going to order 2 and they have the same kind, it's a lot more function for when they're going from ambulance to ambulance, equipment in the same area and stuff. So that's what they're leaning for. That ambulance we've had in place for a good month, I think a month and a half now, and the firefighter EMTs and medics love it. They're very pleased with it. The truck we're going to be getting, they're meeting with them within the next couple of weeks. There's 2 trucks, ambulances being held, and one is earmarked for the town of Southborough. The demo, it's going to be a demo, and it's $380,000, but we'll be able to outfit it, the projecting outfit with a cot for $65,000, and just that demo to upgrade it to the standards to fit our paramedic level is another $30,000. So it's going to land around, I think, $475,000. So it will be under budget. The only big variable is that Stryker power cot. They do go up year to year, I mean, they got the market. Hopefully that stays right around the number, but it's, so you're looking at an ambulance for about 410 plus the cot, so pretty good. You'll get it within 2 years, which is on time frame what Chief Achilles projected, and pretty much that's how everywhere is going. A lot of people are going with buying these demo / stock ambulances and doing little tweaks with them. We technically just did the same thing with that ladder truck, and we were very fortunate to get that ladder really, really quick because of it. So that's the market that's out there for providing emergency apparatus for us right now. Is that
And I
pretty much
think
answer what you need, or?
Well, let me just remind everyone that we did have a power stretcher separately listed in the capital plan, and we decided to defer that this year because of it was going to take 2 years to get the actual the ambulance to put it in, right? So we didn't need to appropriate the funding this year for it. But just to make sure everyone's following, based on the numbers the chief just outlined, we're going to have more than enough money plus savings in what's already been authorized to buy this the power stretcher. So we actually will be able to not have to bring something forward next year related to the power stretcher because of kind of this plan that's kind of in place. Plus, there might be some turn back, or I guess, Brian, the better way to put it is you're not going to bond as much for the ambulance. Questions on the ambulance? And then, Chief, I guess the question that I think would also be helpful to understand is we appropriated money for a tender a long time ago. Where is it?
Yeah, it's not here. So that's, as you can see, dealing with vehicles, it's not getting them off the lot, or the timeframes aren't close. The last update I got was that they finally shipped the truck part of it, the cab, and they're gonna be building it out now. That's what the update we've gotten. I don't, I hate to say it, the ladder might come in here before your tanker, which blows my mind in a lot of ways too. But that's just a different story, different animal. But it's the market we're in right now, and it's a seller's market for us. So we don't have as much leverage as we used to have. But I mean, that truck I'd be very, very disappointed that's not going to be in here by the fall, and I'd say it's unacceptable on my part. I wouldn't be happy with what's going on, but it's where you're at right now. Chief Montini's aware of it. It's something, I don't know how much leverage we have over the companies to get it built, but it's the game they play, some of them, I should say. But will be a nice truck. We could have used it yesterday, the brush fire. So
Go ahead, Joe.
But the delay won't affect the budget for it?
No, the budget's pretty much locked in for that truck right now. It's you paid. It's not like that contract we signed for the ladder.
Okay.
And Joe, I think it's just it should have been here. That's just my kind of feeling with it. But
There's a lot less bells and whistles. Is it true to say that there's a lot less bells and whistles to a
yes,
tender than a ladder truck?
Than the ladder truck, and really the ladder, yeah, exactly. So, and it's going to serve a really good purpose for this community. And like I say, we could have used it yesterday as backup water supply. I had 2 engines on scene for a brush fire. We would have had that if we ran the tanker and in your brush truck would have been perfect for that call yesterday. That's what they'd be running. But when it happens, the theory behind it will be great and it'll work awesome. So, but once it gets here, so
Brian, I think this is an item that you, Mark, incoming chief, should just have a discussion about, just making sure he understands the delays here, whether he has any strategies to expedite it, and or whether there's any other options based on where we're at in the procurement process.
I'll bring it up tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions for the chief? All right, Chief. Thanks for the update.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Is there any public comment? Seeing none, any other business? Seeing none, I will make a motion to adjourn. There's a second. Seconded by Joe. Roll call vote. Steve,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Tony,
Aye.
and I am I as well. Thanks everyone for joining.